welcome to my reading vlog for The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Jenkins Reid. I am so excited to finally be reading a TJR book. I've heard so many good things. I actually want to give a shout out to one of my amazing subscribers, Mia, because she commented on my book haul saying that this was one of her favorite reads, and that made me bump this book up on my TBR, and here we are finally reading it. So thank you, Mia, for inspiring me to do this reading vlog and finally getting me to read this beautiful book. Before I get started, I'm going to read the blurb and also read out the dedication for you guys in case you haven't actually heard what this book is about, which I'm sure almost all of us have probably either read this book or heard about it or know what it's about. Reclusive Hollywood movie icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant for the job, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Why her? Why now? Summoned to Evelyn's luxurious apartment, Monique listens in fascination as the actress tells her story from making her way to LA in the 1950s to her decision to leave show business in the 80s, and of course the 7 husbands along the way. Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless ambition, unexpected friendship, and a great forbidden love. Monique begins to feel a very real connection to the legendary star, but as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in tragic and irreversible ways. And let's have a look to see what the dedication for this book is. I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite things to do before I read a book is actually read the dedication, because I don't know, I just always find them so interesting to like read. Dedication for this one is for Lila, smash the patriarchy, sweetheart. I love that. Oh, okay, wow, this is actually really interesting. So before the actual chapter starts, there's like this little section right here, and it kind of reads as like a newspaper article, and I think that is so cool. I love when books do this, like they have newsletter articles or letters, anything besides like the actual narrative, if that makes sense. I find that so interesting to read because it adds a lot more depth. So yeah, that's basically how it's written off as. It's just right before the chapter starts. Let's now actually start. I'm about 40 pages into the story right now, and it's really interesting because Evelyn has never done a news interview with anyone before, and now she's like 80 years old and she is doing an auction for her dresses, and she's requested specifically for Monique to interview her about it. And we have just actually met Evelyn, and she seems like such a powerful woman, but Evelyn doesn't want Monique to do an interview about her auctioning off dresses. She is wanting Monique to write a whole biography about Evelyn and her life story. So Monique is going to be interviewing Evelyn about her life story and all 7 husbands to find out who her true love was. What's also really interesting is Evelyn wants Monique to publish or sell the story to the highest bidder once Evelyn actually dies, and she wants Monique to basically get all the credit and all the money for Monique herself. I'm like, but why? Like, why Monique herself? And Monique keeps trying to ask Evelyn like, why me? And she's just not answering the question. So I'm really interested to find out, one, how did Evelyn choose Monique, and what made her choose Monique out of anyone when she doesn't want to speak to anyone else or do any interviews, and why she's happy for Monique to get all the money from the sale of the book, and why she trusts Monique so much based on the fact that they've never met before. But yeah, so far I'm really liking it. It is very interesting. I also really like the writing style of the book so far as well. It's so detailed and it almost makes you feel like you're part of the story itself, and that's just me with like 40 pages into the book. Also, I've just noticed that each husband kind of has their own part, so there's like 7 parts of the book. First 5 chapters chapters are us just getting introduced to Monique and Evelyn, and the first 5 chapters are from Monique's perspective, and I think the other chapters are Evelyn's perspective. And we are starting off with the first husband, who is Ernie Diaz. So we are going to learn about the love story between Ernie and Evelyn and see what went wrong and if he is the true love, and it'll be interesting to see what trope their relationship is. Just finished reading about the first husband, Ernie, and we also got to learn more about Evelyn's early days as a teenager and her wanting to escape life with her abusive father, and just like her town in general, because she wants to be a Hollywood star, so she wants to go off to Hollywood and make a name for herself. Then she meets this man named Ernie, and I'm going to take a wild guess and say that he's going to be the least important and least memorable husband, just based on the fact that their relationship and marriage was sort of fake. Well, let's just say it's very one-sided, because Evelyn basically uses him to move and start her career as an actress. Then she books the role to play Jo in Little Women, and then she basically divorces him and leaves. So yeah, Ernie is definitely not the love of Evelyn Hugo's life. And we also find out Evelyn Hugo, her name is actually technically not Evelyn Hugo, her name's Evelyn, but Evelyn Hugo is basically almost her stage name that was created right before she booked the role of Little Women, because she needs to make a name that really stands out in the Hollywood industry. And now we are on to the second husband, and his name is Don Adler, and his part just says goddamn Don Adler. He's actually a wealthy, famous actor as well, so I'm going to assume that he is basically going to give her a lot of clout when they date. I have just reached the 100-page mark, so I thought I'd just give you a quick update. I am not liking Don. He is a terrible husband, and at first I thought they were going to be like really cute, because it kind of started off as like fake dating and then they actually fell in love, but then after they got married everything just went downhill, even though everyone in the public think that their relationship is so perfect. It's literally all for the cameras, but behind the scenes everything is just terrible. And during this time period as well, it's like so normalized for women to just put up with it and live to please men. And even though Evelyn is like a major girl boss and would totally leave him, I feel like she's kind of mainly in the relationship just because her career is benefiting off it. If they do get a divorce, it probably won't be looking good like in the tabloids and stuff. But yeah, we're still with Don at this stage. I am very excited for her to leave him because I absolutely hate him and she deserves so much better. But we have also been introduced to Celia St. James, who is another actress who at first Evelyn is not really a fan of, because like she's competition basically, and she's like a new up and coming actress and everyone loves her, but they've just become friends and I think this friendship is going to be really cute. I just finished the second husband, Don's part, and I am so glad that relationship finally ended because that was just so toxic. But little plot twist, which I kind of saw coming, honestly. Evelyn literally just like upped and left Don and is now staying at Celia's apartment, which, you know, that's obviously going to be juicy. If you've read the book, you'll know why. But now she's basically been blacklisted from all the agencies and managements because Don almost pretty much like blackmailed her, so she gets to keep the house and all the money and stuff, but her management has had to let her go and she's been blacklisted by literally every single agency, so her career is basically plummeting down. I'm about to start the third part, which is the third husband named Mick Rivera. Okay, I literally got so confused because I just started Mick's part and it starts with like a tabloid article saying that Evelyn's like jealous of Celia and they're having beef, and I got so confused confused because I'm like, but aren't they like literally living together and sharing an apartment right now? Then I just finished reading the first chapter in Mick's part, and turns out to avoid rumors, they're like laying low and pretending they're like not even friends or seen with each other in public. I swear Evelyn Hugo is literally such a queen. When she wants something, she will do anything to get what she wants. So she literally like goes off to France while Celia is shooting a movie, and it's kind of like to bring her name back into the limelight by being in this like photo shoot, video shoot thing to bring her name into the limelight in a little scandalous way, I suppose. It works, obviously, which is a big like FU to Don, considering he tried to take her down, but she was like, nah, not happening. On top of that, Celia and Evelyn are a lot more closer now, but with that being said, obviously now with Evelyn coming back into the popular scene and Celia also becoming really famous because she's literally like won an Oscar, and Evelyn is so supportive. Like we love that, especially like the growth from her first being so jealous of Celia because of like her success and her innocent vibe, and now like she's literally so proud and so in awe of Celia. Like we love that, like the connection between them we love. Oh my god, Evelyn's pregnant. I'm shook. Okay, but that kind of makes sense though, because at the start of the book we found out that Evelyn has a child. So is this the child? Oh my god, I feel so bad though, because then it would be Mick's child, which they were literally just like a fake marriage from the very beginning, considering Evelyn is in love with someone else. But we are now about to start reading about the fourth husband, who is named Count Vronsky. Honestly gives vampire vibes, but of course this husband is also going to be marriage of convenience. Evelyn has a new movie coming out, and to obviously get more people interested in the movie, she marries one of the guys in the movie, I think, who is Count Vronsky. Oh my god, that is literally my birthday. Not Evelyn Hugo and Harry Cameron literally getting married on my birthday. Well, I wasn't even born then, but still. Oh my god, I love that I found my birthday in this book. Update, it is 9:20 p.m. and I have just finished reading for the night. I am currently on page 238. So I've made a fair bit of progress on this book. I reckon I'll be able to finish it tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. We just finished the part about Evelyn's fourth husband, Count Vronsky, aka Rex North, which is his real name. He's probably the best fake husband out of all of them so far, because they're on like the same wavelength, and the reason that they got married is literally to boost up views on their movies together. It literally like made me stop and think, oh my god, wait, this actually happens in real life. When a collaboration comes out for a movie or a song or something, the two main people end up always dating like beforehand or getting married beforehand, and I'm like, wow, this actually happens in real life. And that's why when I'm reading this book, it feels like it's real, which is so cool, because I think the way Taylor Jenkins Reid is writing this book, first of all, it makes you fall in love with Evelyn, no matter how questionable some of her actions are. It just makes you feel like you're reading one of your favorite celebrities' biography, and I love that. But yeah, Rex and Evelyn have obviously just had a divorce, and we are, I'm calling it now, up to my favorite husband, Harry Cameron. So this is brilliant, kind-hearted, tortured Harry Cameron. I've only read a chapter of his part so far, and I'm already really loving it because I love Harry Cameron's character. He is actually the person that technically scouted Evelyn in the first place, and they've had this friendship growing for years, and they've just now like striking up a deal like, we're probably going to benefit off each other if we just get married, even though like their relationship is strictly platonic. And what is even more interesting is that Celia, who was Evelyn's best friend until they had that huge fallout, I have a feeling they're going to end up rekindling, because Celia is engaged to this basketball player who's friends with Harry Cameron, and now that Harry Cameron and Evelyn are married, obviously I'm going to assume that they're going to be brought back into each other's life, which I am very excited about, because the connection between Evelyn and Celia is everything to me. But I've decided to just stop off at chapter 37 so I can have my undivided attention on Harry Cameron's part. But good night, and I will see you tomorrow. It's the next day now and it's 4 p.m. I've just finished work. I'm in my PJs and I'm gonna get straight back into reading. Oh my god, Evelyn just had a baby with Harry Cameron and her name's Connor. I thought I would just read this quote because I actually really like it and I feel like it's so true. It's always been fascinating to me how things can be simultaneously true and false, how people can be good and bad all in one, how someone can love you in a way that is beautifully selfless while serving themselves ruthlessly. That is so true. Like, it's never straight black and white. There's always like some gray area. Evelyn has just booked a role after becoming a mother, which I can't remember if I mentioned before, but Evelyn had a freaking baby, y'all. But now she's going to be starring in like a really hot movie. And guess who is also going to be in that movie? Don Adler, aka Evelyn's second husband, who was so toxic and was a major sleazeball and was just a walking red flag, basically. So that's going to be very interesting to see because Don was the one trying to blacklist her and take her down. Also, another thing that's really interesting, the guy that's going to be directing this movie is a guy named Max Gerard, and I think he is actually the next husband after Harry Cameron, and he is also the guy that helped bring Evelyn back into the limelight after Don tried to blacklist her. I'm interested to see how Harry reacts to it. So Evelyn and Don have just met up with each other for the first time in 15 years since their marriage ended. And Don is basically like, sorry, like, for the way I treated you, and Evelyn is just not having it, as she should, because of the way he treated her. And he's like, oh, I was a drunk, Evelyn, I know that now. And then she's like, you were also a cheater and a pig. And I'm like, go off, queen. And she's like, we are never ever gonna be friends, but we can be friendly, because they're gonna be like co-starring in like this new movie together. This is so sad. All I've ever wanted was for you to be truly mine, but you've never been mine. Not really. I've always had to settle for one piece of you while the world gets the other half. I don't blame you. It doesn't make me stop loving you, but I can't do it. I can't do it, Evelyn. Can't live with my heart half broken all the time. My heart, oh my god. You know what's really interesting? Even though Evelyn Hugo is so iconic and she's so famous and everyone wants to be her, and every movie that she's been in has been like a huge hit, she has never once actually won an Oscar. Like, what? And what makes me mad is that Don Adler's second husband won a freaking Oscar, but she hasn't. Why? Oh my god, okay, so the book literally just talked about why she never actually even got nominated for like the Oscar for this specific movie, but also why she's never actually won any other Oscars. And the reason for that is because she's too scandalous. So annoying, because like the males in this book would be winning awards, but the women don't. Hate the double standards. But it's also so realistic, especially in this time that the events are happening. I'm only one chapter into Max Gerard's part, and I'm just gonna read this whole bit out for you because it's actually really sad. It took me about 4 months to realize that Max had no intention of even trying to love me. He was only capable of loving the idea of me. And then after that, it seems so silly to say it, but I didn't want to leave him because I didn't want to get divorced. I'd only married a man I loved once before. This was only the second time in my life I had gone into a marriage believing it could last. And after all, I hadn't left Don. Don had left me. With Max, I thought that something might change, something might click, something might make him see me as I truly was and love me for it. I thought maybe I could love the real him enough that he'd start loving the real me. I thought I could finally have a meaningful marriage with someone, but that never happened. Instead, Max paraded me around town like the trophy I was. Everyone wanted Evelyn Hugo, and Evelyn Hugo wanted him. Honestly, that part kind of like broke my heart. Obviously, the first couple of marriages that Evelyn Hugo had, it was all just for show, and now she's like in her late 30s, early 40s, and she's just wanting to be in a real meaningful marriage. gosh, that chapter was so emotional. There was a tragedy that happened towards the end of Max Gerard's part. Had me teary-eyed, honestly, because I was very attached to that character, and obviously something bad happened. One good thing did come out of that chapter. Celia and Evelyn actually ended up writing letters to each other, and then they decided to have dinner together, and now Evelyn is actually like in her 50s and she's decided to retire because she's not having the same passion for acting that she previously had. Seventh husband is actually Celia's older brother, and they're actually all leaving America and going to Spain to retire and settle down basically. So Evelyn, her daughter Connor, her new husband Robert, and Celia are all going to be living in Spain and just living a quiet life now. There's also another tragedy, or not really tragedy, but like sad news that comes up in this book, which is like very emotional. I just finished The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Jenkins Reid. So here is my review. First of all, the whole time I was reading this book, I didn't even feel like I was reading. I was completely and utterly immersed into this story. I felt like I was reading about actual celebrities that I was obsessed with. Like, it's crazy to me that Evelyn Hugo is actually not a real person, because the way this was written, it felt so real. I just loved the writing style as well. This was my first TJR book, and I'm definitely wanting to read more of her books because I love the way that she writes. Evelyn was just such a lovable character. She is so flawed and has made so many mistakes through her years, but I feel like that is what makes her such an iconic character. Harry Cameron was definitely my favorite husbands out of all seven husbands, especially considering the fact that they've known each other for decades and he was the one that discovered Evelyn. I just loved their relationship and their connection, and obviously I love the connection between Evelyn and Celia St. James. Celia was definitely, I would probably say, my favorite character. I just loved her. She was such a lovable character and she was so fun to read about, and I just loved the fact that no matter how many times they kind of like drifted apart, they always found their way back to each other in some way, and I just loved their connection. I swear I would probably say they were definitely 100% soulmates, and I love them. There was one death in particular in this book that had me very emotional and shook because I was not expecting it. It was so tragic. Actually, pretty much two of the deaths in this book are very tragic. Also, the link between Monique and Evelyn, I would not have guessed that at all, but I actually really loved it. I thought it was so good. Overall, this book, I'm guessing you guys probably know what I'm going to rate it. 5 out of 5 stars. I loved the writing. I loved the characters. I just loved hearing about Evelyn's whole life story. She was such an interesting character and she had so much depth, so much character development, and she's just so unique and iconic. Girl boss vibes. I love her. And also, this is being turned into a Netflix series, so I am very excited to be watching that. I hope they do a really good job with this because the book was amazing and I cannot wait to watch the movie. But yeah, that concludes this reading vlog of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. If you guys enjoyed watching this reading vlog, please give this video a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel down below because I post new videos every week, and let me know what other videos you guys want to see from me and what other reading vlogs you want me to film. Also, go ahead and follow me on my social medias. I actually have a bookstagram with my best friend Ali, so I'll have that link down below along with my Goodreads and my Amazon wish list, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!